Hey, Dr. Q here, and man, I want to get on solo because I got some amazing information I want to share with you guys about this one molecule. Okay. Now, as you know, I am the creator of Naturally Man, of all natural male supplement that I created really for myself, low key. I wanted to be able to take a supplement that I could take every day that would help preserve my performance and function in every aspect of my life. And so, for that reason, I put a lot of antioxidants in there to help with the aging process and oxidative stress on my body. I put energy sources in there, and I put a lot of nitric oxide boosters. Now, as a urologist, nitric oxide is that key molecule in the pathway that all the ED medications work through. Okay. And so, just to review, nitric oxide is a gas and it's a vasodilator. So it causes the blood vessels to expand to allow more blood flow. And the way that Viagra works is that pathway. It helps engorge the penis with blood flow that comes from the pelvis. Well, I knew that nitric oxide helped in that regard. And I also knew that nitric oxide helped with your cardiovascular system because as your blood vessels are dilated, it can help with lowering your blood pressure. And I actually experienced this personally on the medication. A few years ago, I had hypertension. I had a blood pressure of like in the upper 140s, over 90s. And my doc was like, you know what? I think we're going to need to start you on some medication. And I was like, no, I really don't want to because I know the effects of blood pressure medication and I know that it can affect erections. And so I was not trying to hear that. So I said, let me just try, have this new supplement. Let me try it and see if there's any benefit from it. Well, to my pleasant surprise, I noticed that my blood pressure was consistently in the 120s over 70s. And I can't attribute it to anything else other than my supplement, Naturally Man. So I'm just excited about that. But what I'm really excited about is this new research that has discovered that nitric oxide is actually considered the longevity molecule. And the reason being is that it does three important things in our bodies to help improve longevity. All right. So, number one, it helps recruit stem cells from your body, from your adipose or fat tissue in your bone marrow. Now, why are stem cells important? Stem cells are like the pluripotent. They can be anything that your body needs to repair itself. So if you have damage to your heart, it can become a myocardial cell. If you have damage to your muscle, it can become a skeletal cell, so on and so forth. And so this is really important as we get older and we start to develop some tissue damage. In order for our bodies to maintain and preserve, we have to be able to recruit these stem cells to replace old damaged cells. Okay, so that's one way that nitric oxide is responsible for our longevity because it can help sequester and get these stem cells to where they need to go in our bodies. And that's very important for wound healing. Okay, now it also does something with your chromosomes, okay, to keep them healthy. Now, your chromosomes have caps on the end of them, and they're called telomeres. Now, these caps, they should be nice and long, and the longer they are, the longer your cell lives, the longer you live. Now, what happens is that over time, as your cells divide, these telomeres become shorter, and as they become shorter, the lifespan of that cell gets shorter. All right, and your DNA gets susceptible to damage. The shorter those caps are. So nitric oxide is responsible for activating an enzyme called telomerase, which keeps the telomeres nice and long, thus extending the life of your cells. All right, and that is pretty amazing. All right. So you want to try to keep your telomeres as long as you can and for as long as possible. The third thing that nitric oxide does is it helps with your cellular energy production. Okay. So you have these organelles in your cells called mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. And the electrical currency of that powerhouse is called ATP. Well, nitric oxide is responsible for the production of ATP in your mitochondria so that you have more energy in your cells to work. normally. Okay, when you start losing mitochondria, you start losing energy. That's when the cells start to die. So I often wondered, why is it that I feel so good when I take Naturally Man, and that I not only have that boost of energy that comes from the green tea and the B12, but I didn't realize that I was actually getting cellular energy at the same time, which is more sustained energy throughout the day. And so it just blows my mind that I did not realize how much nitric oxide did to preserve us. And listen, at the end of the day, we want to live long, healthy lives, but we want to live functional lives, and we want to live, at least for me, at a high performance level for as long as I can. And so it really is important, particularly as you get older, because our nitric oxide levels start to decline as we get older, that we need to do things that help boost those levels. It's also important to note that our bodies just don't make it on its own. We actually rely on certain bacteria in our mouths in order to generate nitric oxide from the food that we eat. So you often hear me talk about eating leafy greens, dark leafy greens, because they're rich in nitrates, or watermelon. It is, and beets. And because these are sources of nitric oxide, your body will break it down with the bacteria into the gas that will then go into your system and work. Okay. Now, if you are wiping out the bacteria by means of an antiseptic mouthwash, you are robbing your body's ability to generate nitric oxide. So just a pro tip: get rid of all your antiseptic mouthwash. You used to think back in the day Listerine, burned your mouth and all that was good. No, it's not. So get rid of the antiseptic mouthwash. The other thing you want to do and consider is a tongue scraper. Okay. A tongue scraper is really good at removing the biofilm or coat on your tongue that can develop over time. Now, what this does is it's like tilling soil. All right, you're just preparing the grounds for good bacterial growth, and that's what you want over time. So you want to incorporate a tongue scraper, non-antiseptic mouthwash, and the third thing you want to incorporate is dental floss. All right, you got to keep those gums nice and healthy. Keep away from gingivitis, and you know, um, flossing is very important for that. All right, so um, I'm just giving you these tips of health tips that you can use, practical tips that you can use as you get older to maintain your erectile health, your cardiovascular health, your cellular health, your DNA health, your just your body's ability to heal wounds. Nitric oxide is where it's at. So, little plug into my supplement, Naturally Man, full of natural nitric oxide boosters. I put L-citrulline, L-arginine, which are both amino acid precursors to nitric oxide. And of course, we got beets and kale that are also natural nitric oxide producers. And so if you're looking for a supplement, and you don't have to take mine, but I think mine is the best, but it works. But definitely you want to do things that boost your nitric oxide. So incorporate nitric oxide rich foods in your diet and get a supplement. All right. We need all the help we can get as we get older. All right. So this is my health hack for you guys for the day. And I hope that it helps, and stay wealthy and healthy. All right. Dr. Q out.